Everyone, this is Dawn Marie from Creative DME Designs. I also am quite regularly on with Marianne from Happy Paper People with Marianne, so you may know me from there. But would you believe I just did the whole project and I didn't realize hit to go live? So we're going to do it again. What am I making? Well, I went to see Wicked this weekend. And if anybody knows, there is a special book in Wicked. It's called the Grimmerie, and it is Elphaba's book. I am going to show you something right now. This is my very first one that I started. So the way that it opens, and please, this really was just a mock-up. It is not meant to be perfect. Is that in the movie, it opens up like this, and then it opens up like this. So as you can see here, I did it with 4 triangles. This is done with an Amazon box, or a box that came with some, it doesn't actually say Amazon on it. So we're going to be going with this, and then we'll flip over to something that I've already done to do the leather look on it. So let's get started. I have the one that I've already done and didn't realize that I was live right there, but it's drying. So we'll just do it again. So we're going to use this centerpiece right here. And I ended up making it 11, I think it was. I think this is 11. Yeah, it's like a quarter off, but we'll just make it 11 by 12. Oh, Farthignugan. I put in the description what we were going to be using. Hopefully you can go and grab it. So this is 17.5. I am going to take a 1/4 inch off this side. So the 1/4 inch is on this line here, because you can see the corrugate lines, and you can just line up with that. If you want to make a mark, go right ahead. But I am just going to line it up there and take these flats off here. Through the floor, or as close to the floor as possible. And then I'm going to switch it over and find a line here. Remember, we said there. Let's see how close we got. And let's see, right there. So that actually is on a corrugate line. Yay! So this is going to end up being 15 by 11. One of the things I want to tell you is that I'm making this a one-piece one to make it as easy as possible to learn and to make it your own. In the book, it does actually have hinges, but like I said, I wanted to get this out there so that everybody who goes and sees it could even bring their own to the movie theater. So the next thing you need to do is find the center. How do I find the center? Oh, well, let's do it this way. I am going to go on the left-hand side, and I'm just going to hit 9 inches. Although we know it's 16, but this is the easy way to do it, especially if you really don't want to have to measure. You just pick a random number and keep going down that line. Okay, and then we're going to flip it this way, and we're going to go 9 this direction. Nine, and if you want to make them right next to each other, you can. 9. You'll see that it's about an inch between them. Not too bad. Although we do know that 16. Right? What did I say it was? That's 12. 17. So 8 needed 16 plus the middle one there. So then you can go from here, and you know it's an inch. Just do from wherever those are, just do the middle of it. Okay, that's how you can do it without actually measuring it perfectly. And then how I did it in the last one is you guys cannot see what I've just been doing on here. See how I did the little marks? So I did switch to a big one so you can see the actual lines that we need on this to do it. So you need one down the center that direction, and you need one down the center this direction. Now this one we said is 11 inches or pretty close. And the reason why I'm saying pretty close, it's really 11 1/4, and I don't feel like cutting off the 1/4 inch. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to go down the line, and we're going to go 6 inches right down the line, right down the line. 6, and then we're going to go from the other side and do 6 inches. And you really can do this, like, even if I messed up and did this line here, yeah, because there's like a 1/8 of an inch on the end of my ruler that is not part of the numbering. You could still do it blindly. This is how people used to do it in the old days, even without having measurements. You would to find the center point, you would use one stick, one specific size, and you'd go from either side, and then you'd center the little bit that's in the middle. The other thing I remember from geometry is that in order to make a straight line, you have to put more than 3 dots down it. So we did 6 on that side. We're going to do 6 on this side. So lining it up, there's 6. I know, Dawn Marie, why not just make it the thing? Trust me, for somebody who doesn't like to measure, I would rather go through this than try to get the measurement straight on the whole entire time. I would rather, I don't know why, this is just part of the way I do it. Everybody has their own way of doing things. This is my jam, and I really think that it makes it easy for me, because then I am definitely finding the center, because you're breaking it down into smaller part, and it can be more accurate actually. Okay, there's 6. So now you see that is about 3/4 of an inch, but not quite perfect. So I have to find half of that. Half of that is right here. So I'm just going to go down and go halvesies on this. Of course, it's easier when the halvesies are like a whole inch, but yeah, it's that silly half an inch. I'm sure if we were using centimeters, it would be better because they're a little more, they're by 10s and a little easier. So, okay. And I told you have to have at least 3 lines. I'm going to not do every single one on this one. Okay, and okay. See, I was so excited to get going that I didn't even get it to start live streaming. So once again, I'm going to use a thicker marker so you can see this line. And you ask, why did you turn that over, Dawn Marie? Because I don't like marker on the other side of my, it's just easier to take off on this side. I like it here, so if you go over, not on the lines. And this right here is actually more for making it so it doesn't move when you're doing things. You didn't need it to move there. So you now have a longitudinal and a latitudinal line. Now, this point right here is the dead center, and this point right here is the most hinged place on the whole entire thing. So I put a dot there so you know. I'm going to make this super easy on myself, and I'm just going to use the width. I don't think I have my smaller one around here. Nope, it's the same size. I'm going to use the width of the ruler, and I'm just going to make a line down this one and turn it over because I don't like working upside down. A line this way. I know I kept checking my screen and saying, well, nobody's on my live stream, but I didn't tell anybody I was doing this, but I wanted to do it live stream from StreamYard because I did not want to have to go back and cut it and everything like that from taping. I like things live because if I goof up, it just shows you that I'm not perfect, and that's definitely true. So the next thing you need to do is you have a rectangle here, a rectangle here, a rectangle here, and a rectangle here. You need to find the center point here, 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 and here. We know that it is 8.5 inches, which will mean 4 1/4. I am just gonna do 4 1/4 because I don't feel like so 4 1/4. As long as you do it the same way, see, for instance, I'm doing it here and going up to here. And as long as you do it 4 1/4 from this side, and as long as this is going to be, it's not going to go diagonal because you cut it wrong or you did it wrong, like this right here should be the center, which should be 8.5. Okay, so we have these 4 dots. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go from this point, so those X marks, and you're going to make, I think it's a quadrilateral triangle because these two sides will be the same length and on all of them because it's made out of I think it's a quadrilateral triangle. No, I can't remember what the name of it is. I'm sorry to all my math teachers, geometry teachers, whatever, that I can't think of the name of it right now off the top of my head. I lost my train of thought, Mr. Larson. Choo choo. Anybody watching this who went to Foxcroft Academy will understand my reference. So this is just taping and live on YouTube in StreamYard. After this, I'm going to put it on the channels on Facebook, so you'll be able to find it for any of the groups that I belong to, like Happy Paper People and a couple other ones. I will also put it on both of my Facebook pages. Not going to put it on my dog page. I don't think the people in my dog page is really going to want to see how to make one of these. But all of my craft pages, I am going to put this on so everybody can make their own alphabet book. And that's alphabet, not alphabet. So now what you need to do is you need to cut these outsides. So no, cut that, cut that, cut that, cut that, and cut that. I am going to do it with a straight pen knife. You can cut it with scissors. You can cut it any heck of the way you want. The ones that I made yesterday were all done with scissors. And I probably will use, I don't know if I'll use scissors to cut this one out, but I'm going to cut the outside ones first. Another reason why I'm using this cardboard, and you'll see it soon, and this is the reason why I did this as a one piece, is because of the wonderful triple layer of boxes. So you will be able to use this and not make it bulky on the inside. And still be able to make the technically 2 books that make up the one book. Okay. And if you hear dogs, or if you might hear a cat meowing, I don't know. I also have my phone here. Excuse me. I am doing this after I came home from a day of shopping because I wanted to get this out there once I figured out how to do it last night. And I didn't want to stay up late last night to videotape this. And I like live much better than I like doing taping and then having to edit it. Okay. So this is what you have. And I am going to use this one right here to show you. It's not quite the same size. You can see this one's a little bit bigger, but I was using pieces. And this one I did in 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I realized, holy Hannah, I can actually make it as 1 piece. Now, how am I going to do that? By stripping off, and I didn't realize this when I did it, by stripping off one side, this was like I said, I was playing with this. So once I made this, I realized that when you open it, so in the book, this is how it opens. You have to have a front hardcover and a back hardcover. It flips up first. So these insides need to be soft so that you get I know in the movie, they actually use a hinge here to do that. So if you make it exactly like in the book or in the movie, you can make it in separate parts. You could make this one as one side and this one as another. But I want to make it as 1 piece. It will just make it easier. These should be able to be whipped out any size, super easy for to take with you to the movie or to give somebody for a Christmas present, even who have decided they are now in love with the musical. So what we need to do is we need to, this right here is a major hinge piece. I'm going to go just below the line. And I'm not cutting through that top layer. I'm just going through the 2 layers. And I'm going to go through this one on this side. So it's making you a little bit of a hinge there. It's widening it. And I'm going to slip my thing here and pull it out. And it doesn't need to be perfect. It's just there for right now. You will see later we can go back and clean it up. Where's that piece again? Okay. So the other thing on this one is I learned that, and we'll go to this side, you need one side to be hard and one side to be soft. So in order to do that, what I do is I go, this is going to be the hard side. Top. It may not actually be the top, but I'm just going to put a top and bottom here so you know. You're going to go on this side of the line and you're going to split this down. So you're going to go if this is the line, you're going to go over it so you don't see it anymore. Actually, if you do it this way, do it right so you can just barely see a brown little edge next to the black. Let's do it that way. And you're only going to go through 1 layer, 2 layers, the corrugate. You can do 1 layer and then go through the corrugate. Okay. Whoops. Once again, nothing has to be perfect, but there we go. We know that this side needs to stay. This side needs to stay. So the next thing you do is you start peeling. Start peeling right like this. I like this. I save this brown, especially the top layer. You can bend it like this to get the layer. Sometimes it comes off super easy. You want to make sure you don't rip the edges, although if you do and it's not too big, we do have a way to fix it later on. If there are any stragglers like that, I just usually take my edge here and just pull it off. Once again, this side needs to come off because it's the anterior one. The interior, not anterior. Two different words. And you just pull it like that, and you clean up what's there. This one didn't get, I guess, cut as well. And you get it out off. Okay. So this is the inside now. Now you can clean up this edge right here. And remember, this part right here is going to be the edge or the hinge portion of this book gets the most grief, the most work out is this one. I do like to trim it up. And as you know, the corrugate was there, so you can bend this back to the next side of the corrugate, to the next one, and trim that. So it makes it a little bit prettier. I think this one's pretty close to the corrugate. Yeah, so that's really close to the corrugate, so I'm not going to cut any more off of that, maybe a little bit. But that's pretty close to the corrugate line there. If they're not even, it doesn't matter. It's just a hinge area. You might want to check and make sure that the V's are still there. You can see there was a little piece there. And there's a little rip here. But what we're going to do now, move those over there, is I need to find my tape, which I finished using earlier. And now I don't know where I put it. Yes, that's because I messed up and didn't hit play and was not. This is my second time doing it. There it is. So this right here, it's made out of jeans, but you use any sort of fabric tape to make sure that your seams or the hinges on your books won't break. Excuse me, I have hiccups. And I might need to take a drink too. So I am going to put some right down here. The center, because that, like I said, is the main hinge. That is the biggest problem, or the biggest hinge portion of this book, and it needs a lot of stability. Okay. And there, I am going to cut it past it. Okay. This tape here I've had for eons. I don't know if they still make it. So just use any fabric tape that you can find. You could even just use pieces of fabric. I'm sure people have fabric hanging around. I'm just going to cut because we know that it's about that size. And I'm going to put this here. Excuse me. Okay. I do like when you're using fabric tape. I don't rely on the stickiness of it already. And I do like fabric tack with it. So we're just going to leave that there so it dries. The other thing I might do here is see if I can get any of these things off so you can't see them through. Okay, that portion must have had a lot of water on it when they did it, and this one didn't. That tape, I don't know if anybody's ever seen a dispenser of it. There's a water well, and it runs water over as you pull the tape. Sometimes, depending on how you're doing it, you get edges that don't stick down. I used to have to do those in college when I worked at Hammett School Supply. I was a packer there, and then a picker, and then a checker. I moved up in the ranks. So the next one we're going to do is I am going to start here because I actually want this to wrap all the way around the thing and make it one continuous loop. You could make it two-sided. I just want, when I do something like this, I like to do the whole one piece so I don't have to make extra cuts. So I'm going to put a little bit on this side, a little bit on this side. You want to make sure you're getting in that little ditch there. Okay. Because you want that ditch there. That's actually another point where you tend to, where you're going to end up making holes to add paper into it, to put your signatures in. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. This side is a flat side, so you don't need to worry. You just got to get it down flat. That is probably one of my animals. Usually when I'm up here, they want to be a part of everything going on, and that's probably Abby. It is Abby because Billy Goat is up in the cart that I made for them already. Abigail, stop. If you want to get up, you have to come over here. Once again, there's still nobody here, and it's not bothering me. It's more important to get this out now. Okay. So you want to get up with Grandma? Come on. I'll put you up with Billy Goat. Come on. Come on, Abby. You want to get up with Billy? There we go. There we go. I've got a little bed in the top of a cart. It's very lovely for them to get into. And they just usually go to sleep. So once again, let me turn this around so I can see the divot. I'm going to put a little on this side. I'm going to put a little more on this side because you want to have it go right into that little divot. I don't know what you would call it. Dip. You want it to go like that. So I'm going to pull this out. I'm going to cut it right there. Love when there's stripes that pretty much can tell you right where it needs to go. Tack it down to make it even, and then push it against the side so that it gets in that valley. Valley is probably more of what it should be. Or cliff edge, bottom of the cliff, because this would be the cliff, and they'd go. Okay. So that is that. You know what? Because I did the other one and I messed up, I don't know if I have brown paper here. Oh no, I have to find it. So now you're going to go back. These should be dry enough now to cut, or just have your Tim Holtz scissors that have Teflon on them so you can cut them and you won't mess up. Now, sometimes, and this might actually be a good thing, is you can just flip it over like that. I don't think I'm going to do it because I want that to be nice. There we go. There's that. You also could use your pen knife to do that. This one is tiny, so you're likely to overdo it. Okay. This one, because it's so tiny, I'm just going to flip it up over there because I don't feel like trying to get it off. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to wrap it in brown paper. And of course, because I already used the brown paper, now I need to look around my studio for more brown paper that I'm sure that I have. Because I covet that stuff like There's no tomorrow. Come on, brown paper. Come out wherever you are. Brown paper. Here we go. Right where it's supposed to be. Well, it's not the stuff from Amazon, but it is brown paper, and we're going to use it. I think that my stash is down in what I'm organizing right at the moment. Oh, that looks like that could be a piece down there. So what you're going to do with your brown paper that you get from Amazon is you are going to, or a brown paper bag, is you're going to scrunch it and scrunch it and scrunch it, pull it out, scrunch it, pull it out, scrunch it, pull it out. That helps. Oh, there it is. There's one of the brown papers from Amazon. We'll work with that. Just to make things even. So now I don't think we're going to need all of this. So I am going to pull some of this off. Really, all you need is one piece to cover one side, the whole of one side. And then you can always use pieces to make it even. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to sew this. We're going to do it like this. It goes on there. Obviously, that's going to be a pain in the butt, but I am just going to rip this off here. Okay, we are working right on, and still no viewers, which is fine by me. Maybe eventually I'll have viewers. So the first side you really want to do is what is going to be the front of it, which is the side that is not doubled up or a single layer. It's the one side of that. So what I am going to do is I'm going to spread glue all over this. Now I have a jar here that I have my own glue made up in. This is a glue brush, which is made out of silicone. You can get it at any hardware store. Louise, I didn't smush this one up. So we know the size. Now let's just smush it up. The more you smush it, the better it looks like leather. And in the movie, it is leather. And I will work with one that's already dry in order to show you how to do a basic leather technique on it. You could put 1,000 layers on something to make it look like leathery. And you just keep working it and working it, working it. Like I said, this is a quick one so that it can be made fairly quickly for a present or a thing to take to the movie with you. It is not meant to be exactly or look perfectly like the movie. We are going to try to make it look as much like the movie, but I also haven't seen very many pictures of from the movie yet. I believe I would need to actually go to the movie again to get it exactly the way it was. I know there's some leather bindings on it, but this is going to be the closest thing you're going to get to Alpha Buzz book. Once again, it's made from one piece of cardboard from a box and the brown paper that you usually get in your Amazon box. You can make it from any size as long as you follow my steps that I did in the beginning to get it to this shape. So I did try to make a small one that maybe you could hang on a Christmas tree. I was thinking that would be cute. In fact, I may see if we can do that for a, I don't know, maybe a Monday jump start with Happy Paper People, or maybe we'll have a special Saturday or Friday laugh and craft with them, and I will teach everyone how to do this. Once you know what each side should look like, you pretty much can do it with any type of paper. there are some changes you would have to make. I did one with cardstock, and I just had to double up the side that I kept thick on that one, on the top and front and back of the book. But you basically make it the same way. So I'm smushing it down as much as I can on this side. Uh-oh, see, it didn't go there, but we can fix that. It's okay. Nothing is ever a problem. Nothing is ever wrong when you're doing something fun and making a book. Okay. Still no people, which is fine. I'd be shocked if somebody came in. They would be like, oh, holy crap, somebody's in here. So then you're going to flip it over like this. I am going to rip these edges rather than cut them, just because it makes it easier, and it just means that I have to find my straight edge, which I had and I no longer needed, so I probably put it someplace I can't find. So I'm going to go about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. Take that off so that I can, and like I said, it doesn't matter if you rip it off too close. You can always go back and add more. If it's on, the more layers on one of these, usually the better it looks, because yeah, you might want a leather that is, perfect and flat. I don't. I want it to be as wrinkly and textured as possible. So you're going to want to take a V off of this corner or off of the inside. Okay, and then the V off of this side. Okay. I'm trying to do this so you can see in real time how fast it is to make one of these. This is, of course, like my 3rd time, I think, or 4th time actually making one of these. I do cut to the V, and that's just to make it sharp. Now, I see here that we need to make some add-ons. I need to put a corner here. So I'm just going to take a small piece of paper and I'm going to add it to here. And go over it like that. We need some here, right here where that V was. And I'd sort of like it to be pretty much the same shape. So let's do this, because that's all cut there and it's not going to look as pretty if it's a straight cut in there. You gotta, okay, there's that. You can see how lovely and wrinkled this is. This end of this tool is to go like this if you really want like all the air out of it. I don't mind if it's budgy like that. You sort of want, like you can make these lines look not so liney, but with this tool, and it smooths out the leather look, which depends on what you're doing. Down here also needs a corner. So let's grab this one. I'm going to just go across here and do that. And there's that corner. See, all fixed. Never even knew it was wrong. Okay. I'm going to start up at this straight edge and I'm going to pull these down. I usually like to get some on the paper and some across here. And then I'm going to push down on this. This is actually where you might want to use that little flap, this little edge. And also it's for doing this too, where you want that seam. And we're going to want that seam to be able to be stained with the, once you put the paper over it also. So that edge is moved down. And now I'm going to do this edge right here. So on the cardboard and on the paper. Like I said, this is a glue brush. It is made out of silicone. You can get it actually in the paint sections of most stores. I've never seen it at Walmart or Target, but I'm talking like going and getting it at Lowe's, Home Depot. I think plain paint stores might actually have it too. Now, I usually do the corners, so this is going to be very little, but I am going to go under like that just to make sure that that sticks down. And it's really just to make sure that that is a nice sharp corner. And that is a nice sharp corner. I know it's like folding a gift. And I do like to use the edge of this to make sure that the edges are down. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Not always a good thing. Okay, I see this little thing sticking up, and I do want it to stick down because you want that glued to the piece underneath it. So there's that. We're going to put glue all over this edge. Okay, we're going to take it down so we can have that as a sharp edge. There we go, right across there. This one's a pretty good one too. And we're going to just go like this. We want that to be a nice sharp point there. Okay. So we've done that point. So now we're going to start and do the other edges. Don't forget, we do have this lovely edge on our end on my glue. I almost want to call it a glue wand. It can be my glue wand, like Glinda has her wand. This would be a crafter's wand. This is when you make sure that it's nice and tight. You do use that edge to make sure that it's wrapped around nice and tightly. And we're not going to worry about those edges there because we will cover them with more paper. Okay, once again, paper and cardboard. Bring it over, make sure it's getting that high edge. Push it down. There we go. The other place you want to make sure that you're getting it right on there. Okay. There we go. And all of that will be hidden. My desk is truly messy because I really haven't been up here much. I decided that I was going to work on things in my house, try to declutter some stuff. We still had a lot of stuff for big dogs in my doggy pantry, but we haven't had a big dog in here since Bruno left. So I needed to get all the big dog stuff out, like clothes and harnesses. I kept some of his special stuff, like I had made him a sweatshirt out of an NC State sweatshirt that I had found. Saved his collar, saved collars that were specifically other of our dog's collars. But I went from having multiple shelves worth in the dog room to really only having 2 shelves. And now we're able to put extra blankets up there. And actually, the big thing is more books because I am overloaded with books. And until I can do my bookshelves in my hallway coming up to my studio, I need to find other places for them to get them out of the way so that I can do things around the house. Okay. If you hear honking, that is my dog. She started doing that. She's done it before, but she usually only does it when she gets a drink of water. But she came in out of the cold this weekend and has been doing it every time she comes after exercise or after she drinks. Probably either had a drink. Nuggie, either go get a drink or go downstairs, please. She has a vet appointment tomorrow, so please don't say I'm not treating my dogs right because she has one. I have been giving her medicine for it already. that I talked to another vet on and was told what they probably were going to put her on, which I happen to have a couple of those pills left over from one of my other dogs. And I started her on it, but we'll see what it is. I did feel a lump down in her throat when I was trying to put a pill down her throat. The other thing that sound comes from is when the trach tube collapses. I'm hoping that's not it. She does not have kennel cough. I can tell you that right now because it's not watery sounding. So she is going to the vet tomorrow, and hopefully she'll get better. Once again, it started this weekend, and I contacted our vet who was out of town, immediately. And she told me what to. He says, I know one of your dogs have had something like this before. Do you still have any of this? And I was like, yes, we do. Give her that until you can get in to see somebody else. So that's what we did. It's probably time for her medicine anyway, because I'm doing this before I eat dinner tonight. And right now on my clock, it says 7:01. So we'll be eating a little late tonight. But I'm doing it after a day of shopping and doing some errands that I needed to do. So that side is leathery looking. This side, I am not going to do this because I am sure you guys would just take these pieces, stick them down, cover this side too. And you can tell the difference between each side by the thickness of the sides. So I'm just going to move this to the side, and we're going to go to where I was when I realized that I had not started the video. This is one that I made last night. I did just put Nugget. Can you go downstairs with Daddy, please? This was the point that I realized, oh, I don't have it live streaming. Duh. So I did add the tape on because I didn't have it downstairs when I was working on this last night. You can see that I had tried to put some sort of extra paper on that hinge, and it really didn't work. So I did go back and add some of the paper, some of the fabric hinge. Because I did it here, I'm not going to do it across the side on this one. And that's mostly is we're going to have to cover these now. And I think what was there, this, and then what I cover it with is going to actually be fine for the hinge. Now, the other paper I'm going to use on this is actually the paper that we ripped off the one side here because it's just a little bit darker. So I'm going to pull some of this off. It also has these little lines on it. And I think it will make a cool, actually, this is one that I can show you. I made one that had way too little a size here of this hinge. And it just, you have to have at least an inch, if not bigger there. I think once you make it smaller, and maybe you use this, you could go smaller, but that was while I was being lazy and did not want to come upstairs to get it. Let's make sure that's off. Anything that's not going to stick. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rip some ink wide sections just because I think that will make it easier for me. And we'll make it look like the edge of the book or the binding edge of the book is different than the front and back covers. Okay. So we're going to just take some of my, I think I'm going to use fabric tack because that will glue faster. I'm going to put fabric tack on the back of this. I ripped it so it's not such a straight edge. and it might blend better. So I'm just going to put it down the center there where the tape is, and cover that tape up so that you don't see it. And do press down, just like with everything. This is the inside of the book. And the one that has the little gully there that you have to press into. And let's see. Let's try this one. Am I going to be upset that this is not the same size? No, I'm not. I like it different. I think it's going to look cool that way. So I'm going to glue this down. Once again, I'm using this because it glues fast. However, if you're going to get really wet, you do have to make sure that it is down and dry before you put like water on it, because water is the opposite of this and it will make it lift up. Anything water. That's why you don't mix white glue with Fabri-Tac. They don't like each other. Okay, let's see what this one looks like. That will work, except for I am going to pull this edge. I do not like this edge because it's straight, and I should have fixed that on the other side. I'm going to actually rip this side right here so that it looks more natural than a straight line. There we go, much better. And I'm going to do that on this edge too. Okay, let's glue this one down. Okay, there's that. Once again, pushing, and we're going to do this on both sides. And it may still be a little wet there, which is why it's not going down, but we'll live with it. Oop. Now I've got stickiness all over me. So we're going to put this one down. Just make sure it's down. Okay, I did let it go over the edge. There, and you can see I might have to do something with that edge, but I'm just going to work it right over this side. There we go. Oops. Okay. Let's rip that edge and rip this edge. And I'm going to actually lift that up because that's a smaller edge. And I'm going to put the smaller edge over the big side. And I may need to rip some more of these. And remember, this side is the front or back, and these are the insides. So this is the dress or the presentable side that I'm putting on now. The side that will be presented as the front or back. So I'm going to rip this one like this so that on top of that it will look cool. And I'm going to rip that one like that. And we are at about an hour, which is what I was hoping it would take to do this. So to get the base of it done, you can get it done in an hour gluing. And then the dressing of it, I will go over really quickly about how to do it with ink. You can make it look like leather with ink. You can make it look like leather with paint. You can make it look like leather with a lot of things. And you can do multiple colors, multiple layers. But this is the most basic that I'm going to show you. We need some more. There's one. This one needs to be. Okay. Do that. Does look like a little bit different color, but I think it is the same It might be a little different. Oh, well, doesn't matter. Once you start putting other colors on top, it's not going to matter at all. Unless you want this to stay a different color. But I would just do leather all over it first and then go back and put like black lines or gold lines on it to denote that this is the edge of the, I do need to grab another piece. Let's see. Now you could also have done it in this, which I think would look really cool if you can flatten it down, but we didn't. Okay. So I'm just going to do this one by hand. See what I can do here. I hear whining, which is probably one of the kitties or one of the doggies. This edge, I am actually not going to go over it. I'm actually going to cut this edge. And it's just because I want this piece here, I think is going to go over the end. And I'd rather have that. There, no straight edge. Yeah, I'd rather do that. So let's, oops, do this. And like, for instance, this is a smoother side. This side right here has the lines from the corrugate on it. I think this may be the opposite side. I think this, I put that one on wrong. This is corrugate. That one isn't. We'll do it this way. Once again, it really doesn't matter because if you wanted to make it even, you could always take a piece of sandpaper to it. Okay. So that's that edge. I'm making sure that it's down. And then I am just going to flip this over here. And then if any sticks out over the edge, I will, like this right here, you can see that edge. I'm just going to trim it because I really want a nice line there. And I don't think it's going to, that edge to be trimmed is not going to be unsightly. Oh, this needs to stay down. Stay down, foul beast. Okay. Okay, we are going to have to let that dry before I start folding it. And actually we may end up, and I do suggest maybe, folding it using something to take the edge and do it like a bone folder, because there are quite a few layers here now. So this is the inside. Let's start on the outside. So alphabet is green. I am actually going to take my pine needles and just go like this over it. This one is water soluble, but I actually want it like that. I want it to blend in with the other colors that I have. And you can see how those pieces, and in fact, I am going to bring you down a little further now because I don't have that big box piece here. It's just going to hit those rises and it will be a background color, really. You could have taken a brush and done this. You could have taken a pad and done this. Me, the faster I can get it done, the better off. Messy, messy, messy is fun. Okay. I am going to do it on this side too, just because I can. You can still see some of the corrugate through it, which is fine. And you see it's hitting those lines. Okay, and we really just wanted it to hit the toppers there because the next one we actually probably will do some sort of, stick down, with a brush or something to rub it in. So this is archival ink that I'm going to use next. And I'm actually going to use Vintage Photo. We're hoping this is going to dry fairly quickly. Now, what do I have to put this on with? I do want to use a pad of some sort. Here we go. Let's use my brown one. Where's my brown one? There's my brown one. And you see how that picked up the green. Now let's put some brown on it. And we're just going to rub it in with your brush. I may need to re-ink this one. It doesn't have to be perfect. You want some really thick brown. You want some thin brown. Some of this color will get buffed out. Some of it will stay on. It will get covered with another color because we are going to make it a leather one. So leather, you'll be using all of your fall tones. You might even put a little orange in it, but I did start it with a green background. I do find that if you start it with a color in the background, like in the same tone, I wouldn't start with pink. But if you start like an orange or a red, and then put the browns on it, it does change the color of the leather and it makes it more richer, or it makes it richer. Once you end up finishing with a really pretty base coat. I am not going to go over the center line with the brown. I'm only going to come up to the edge because I think that I will probably want, I don't know what I'm going to do there, but I'm just bringing it up to the edge there. So we're going to do this. I'm only going to work on this side from now on. I know I put green on the other side, but y'all know, actually, I'm only going to work on this right here because you can make it look the same by doing the same thing on the four. Technically, that's a square with the edges cut off. You can do the same and just keep working it. So there's got some brown. You want the edges to be browner. That's where I would go and grab my black. These are archival inks, so water will not take them off. That's why I'm using them as the base. So that it will stay there. You can use other inks on top of it, which is great. So there's that. There are things you can. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use my archival brown espresso, which is a little bit darker. I did not change this because I use this for all of my browns. And you want the edges definitely done in the ground espresso to make sure that you're getting that leather look. Okay. So what I'm going to do too is I am going to finish this up because I'm only showing you how to leatherette one side. I am going to finish this up and I will put a picture of it in fact, I'll probably put a picture as the heading in a couple days once I finish it. And then, so it'll be easier to be found. And so you can see what the final thing was. I am hoping that anybody who is watching this actually knows how to put a book together. And maybe I'll do a second one of how I'm going to put the signatures in this. I really don't want this to go very much longer because everybody gets bored after a certain amount of time. So that is with, what was it? Ground espresso, archival. I am now going to put hickory smoke on it, which is a gray. They do not have gray. So I'll just use my black or a black. This one's pretty clean. I think it's a newer one. I just get these at the Dollar Tree. And then if I feel like they've gotten too gunky, I don't feel bad about getting rid of them. So I'm going to put the gray in towards the center of this one, just to dirty it up. Dirty up the green a little. Okay. And like I said, you can just go through this and put, well, I'm just going to say it, a shit ton of different layers of inks and paints and whatever you want on this to make it to make it look more and more leathery. These are just with what, 1, 2, 3, 4 colors. The other thing you can do is if you do use a paint or you use something that's water that will move with water, you can splatter on it, and with water you can lift things off with water. Why don't I try, you know what, I really want to try, let's see. I'm actually going to put a little bit of Rusty Hinge because I'm all for my oranges. And this one is a water soluble one, so water will make it move. Unfortunately, orange in this pack of brushes is this peachy color. Get me a real orange. I'm going to sort of bring it on the edges here, and you can see that this deepens all the colors that I've already put on it. With that. And actually what I really want to do with this is I want to get this middle one. I want this to be more reddy orange. So it's like a different, totally different piece of leather than the one underneath it. Okay, let's put some here. And you see it just totally brings out a different degree. And like, I don't know what that is. That might have been a piece of glue or something on it, but it looks cool because it's like a special thing. And the more you hit the edges with every single color, the darker and deeper they will get. You know, of course you can go over with black, but the layers are really the thing to do. Because the edges are what we touch. So those are going to be dirtier and more used. Okay, that was Rusty Hinge. Now, what other colors do I have? Another color to use, which is really good, is I really want my peeled paint might work too. No. I should have had these pulled out. I'm sorry. Frayed burlap might work. Nope. Where is the new one that he did? The really funny dark brown one. I can't remember the name of it. Like smoked or burnt something. It may not. Oh, scorched timber. That's what I was looking for. Scorched timber. Scorched timber has a lot of colors in the base of the ink. It makes it really cool. So I need my red because aged mahogany is a little bit of red. I'm going to just use the aged mahogany on the center part here because I do want that to have a deeper red tone. And if I find it's too red, I just go and put brown on it, and that will cut the color of the red. Remember, this is layers upon layers upon layers to get to a deep leather look. I am going to go over the edges with this one, especially the tip, because it's a good color. And the more you use the edge, the more dirty it gets. Okay, there's that one. So peeled paint, we did the green like that. I'm going to actually just hit this like I did the other green. And this is just going to make, it's a lighter shade of the green that I used. And it's just going to sort of push into the back of the colors that have not. It's just giving where the green is a little extra. Okay. Now, like I said, that's really red. So I'm going to take some of this frayed burlap. I'm just going to use the brown because I use it's close enough to brown. And I'm going to go over it. And you see how that just takes that red and dulls it down. I do like frayed burlap. It's a good neutralizer. It neutralizes any of the bright colors that you have on top. And there you go. Look, it's not as red anymore because we used frayed burlap. So I am going to go over the whole thing with frayed burlap because that like I said, it neutralizes a lot of the colors, but it still makes it, you know, still look leathery. See how nice and leathery that's starting to look? And that was just that silly brown paper that Amazon puts in every single one. I think it's every single one of their boxes. We certainly get enough of it. I try to save as much as I can, but I use it for paper in pages in signatures. I use it for pages. I actually use it underneath things when I'm like right now. I probably should have had that on my you know, so it doesn't go over. You can see how the depth of that is starting to make it look like an old worn leather. Okay, that one was, okay, frayed burlap. Now this right here, this scorched timber, this is a very dark color. It's probably the closest to black as you're going to get it. And it's got multiple colors in it. Some of the colors that are in it is actually a green tone, but it breaks it. It's a fabulous color. And hats off to Timmy for finding that, because to making this one the last color, because it is probably my favorite, especially when I'm grunging things and especially when I'm doing leather, because it evens out the leather. It takes it from having all of those colors, and you can still see the colors underneath it, but it adds that dark, rich tone of the final coat of stain that they put on the leather of the book. It would be almost like oiling the leather the final time. And I really do think that that burnt timber makes a big difference. So this one I haven't done yet, and that's got the burnt timber on it. You see what a big difference that is? And it just evens out the tone. It works with the colors that I've already put down. And I am making it go over everything. And it makes it look a heck of a lot more like leather. I am going to stop this because I do hear that my husband is making dinner. And I will come back on live to show you how my leather came out. And we will work on putting signatures into our Wicked Grimmerie. I don't know how to say it. Or Alphaba's book. But here is, this is either going to be top or bottom of it. And that was how quickly you just take a bunch of your darker tones on wrinkled paper. Makes it very leather-like. And I really, really, really am liking that. It makes that green sort of go away. But it also harmonizes with it. And that last coat I put on was scorched timber. And that's really what made everything into a leather look. So it's layers on layers. Now, because this has some, the layers could be, I am going to actually drop, well, I didn't put enough in my hand, drop some water on it and see if it makes, oh, the wrong water, but I don't think it's going to matter. You will see bubbles in it because I think this is stuff with my soap in it, and I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. This will lift some of the ink, and it will, because it's not heat dried yet, and it will make little puddles on it where I can go back over it, or I can lift those. And because there's bubbles in it, might even make it better. Okay, I think I might have something that we can even lift that with right now. I keep pieces of paper towel next to me that I've used for other things, and you will see that it lifts those up. And if you wanted to let them sit on longer, but it lifts it up just enough so that there's that little difference in color under all of those wet portions, and that just gives more depth. Next thing, you could come in and do a spray. You could use some oxides on it, which will do something totally different. Like I said, it's layer upon layer upon layer to get a leather look, but this would be probably one of my most basic leather looks that you could do. And I'm going to cut out now. This was Dawn Marie with Creative DME Designs, making Elphaba's Grimmerie from the movie Wicked. And tune back in for taking this into making it into an actual book. Thank you. Bye.